Okay, next, coming at you, from Winchester, and I don't know whether it was the prison or not, Peter Allen Eaglesfield Clarke, please!
Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good, I don't need to get too near it then. The first one, I say I've got a young man in the audience, I'm not allowed to swear. So I'll change the title, it's called Oh For God's Sake. My wife was snoring late last night. Her rumbling gave me terrible fright. The noise was enough to wake the dead, as I lay with a pillow over my head. I could still hear the noise she made as I tried to dream of a woodland glade, but my sleeping dreams just wouldn't come, so I squeezed her nose with a finger and thumb. Silence was bliss and quite serene, but then my wife Megan went ever so green. I released my grip and she breathed with a pop, but the snoring restarted and just wouldn't stop. Oh, for God's sake, I cried out so madly as the snoring continued to affect me quite badly. Then I tried hiding under the covers of down, but the grating noise they just wouldn't drown. By now I was going out of my head. Her snoring made me wish I was dead. What could I do now? How could I stop it? If she would move, then maybe she'd drop it. Then I tried digging her once in the back, but she turned over and punched me with a crack. She smacked my nose, which broke and then bled, and I laid comatose on my back in the bed. So then in the morning I woke and was sore. Megan told me I was a terrible bore. She said, "You were snoring most of the night. I couldn't wake you. You gave me a fright." So now it is me who must go to the quack to get a cure as I snore on my back. Megan sleeps on in ignorant bliss while I get to listen to continuous hiss. The next one doesn't rhyme and it's not supposed to. It was just thoughts I had the other day of getting older and thinking back to my childhood days. And it's called I'm Going to Go and Climb a Tree. I'm going to go outside and I will climb a tree. I haven't been out there for a while. I want to see if I can still do it. This is the tree of my childhood. It used to be a pirate ship. Doctor Who's TARDIS was another incarnation. Then it was a spaceship flying to Mars with lots of different decks. It was my castle and I was the king looking out at the world below. So very far below. Mum coming out and screaming. Not for me though, but for my brother who'd climbed to the top. Me looking up at the soles of his sandals. Crepe rubber on a 4-year-old boy. Me clinging on for dear life, wishing I was brave. Life was so much simpler then. Imagination ruled the world. Waking up with the sun, warm rays streaming through the window, warming the counterpane, making me feel alive. A day of wonder, a day of life, secure in parents' love. Life was simpler then. Then came school and discipline, rules to which I must conform, a perception of what is right. The law enforcers, teachers, people indoctrinated by a society that thinks it knows all the answers. The reality, somewhat different. Small-minded, petty pedagogues who thought they were better than me, with the ability to humiliate and put down a child. I was a child, but you feel big now, secure in the knowledge you acquired through study, academia, sheltered from the real world. I liked school in the early days, hated it in the latter. I left as soon as I could, became a soldier. Easy money. Thinking, not an option. Blind obedience, kill or be killed. Bravery or stupidity. Lack of cowardice or a lack of imagination. Intellectual stimulation lacking, I moved on. A decade lost. I now work to live. Live to work's my employer's motto. No compassion. I'm a cog in a machine, easily replaced. So I'm going to climb a tree and remember what it was like when life was simple. Just hope I don't fall out. You may have noticed I'm wearing a t-shirt. I can see a few t-shirts in the audience. I decided to write a poem about t-shirts because they're viewed in so many different ways and people wear them for so many different reasons. This is purely my perception. But I genuinely think that t-shirts worn by most are very rarely funny. They've often been conned to part with all their money. T-shirts can be rude and cause lots of offence. For some of their messages there is no defence. Is it necrophilia if the body is still twitching? It was I who shagged your daughter and gave her all that itching. Save the snail and sob the whale, they proudly all proclaim. I like lamp and cook a cat, they're really all the same. T-shirts are about expression, part of the mating game. If you find my t-shirt funny, it means we are the same. If you share my sense of humour, you'll go to bed with me. It means I don't have to try too hard to get you on your knees. Young people wear t-shirts of their favourite band. The middle-aged wear them to show that they're not bland. I'm not old yet, so please don't put me in the yard. I'm wearing this t-shirt to show I party hard. Look at my t-shirt, it shows a picture of Shay. I'm not sure who he is, but I'm told that he's okay. He's a symbol for our freedom, a communist red. Sorry, I don't get you. Do you mean he's dead? Fit people wear t-shirts so very, very tight, so we can see their muscles and wonder at their might. The corpulent wear t-shirts of a massive size, so they can hang quite low and cover up their thighs. It's all about self-expression, what we're told to wear. It's the same as being told just how you have your hair. Although we're individuals and we're just like all the rest, we're media sheep and brainwashed to the best. So when you wear your t-shirt, just remember this. There are thousands like you who live in ignorant bliss. I've seen that t-shirt many times, it's really quite a bore. The message that you wear isn't funny anymore. All cool. Sometimes in life we meet people who we dislike intensely, and even though we know they're not worth expending our negative energy, and we know that actually if we were to ignore them our lives would be better, we can't help themselves. I try and get over it by writing poetry about such people. Here's one. It's called I Think I Hate You. I think that I hate you, I honestly do. You're not the least bit appealing. You're terribly ugly with horrible breath and a dress sense that sends people reeling. I don't normally dislike people I meet, but for you I will make an exception. I wouldn't be surprised, not one little bit, if your mum was not at your conception. You're vermicious, pernicious, a horrible toad. Your bald patch is rather too florid. Your redeeming qualities are totally absent. I find you abnormally horrid. Why don't you go to the doctors? He can fix that large wart on your head. With a bit of luck, you'll slip with a knife and then you will end up quite dead. But if you survive the procedure and you end up cured of your lump, do me a favour and don't speak to me. I dislike you, you give me the hump. I smile as I sit here daydreaming while I consider your untimely demise. Some hard frozen rope and a small piece of soap should put an end to your lies. This one, very simply, fraud and a deceptive business. Try to guess who it's about. I like to try and use big words. They show that I am clever. Words like vociferous and nefarious endeavour. I like to think that I'm smart, that I'm too erudite for quarrels, where really I'm duplicitous with meretricious morals. I'm a psychopathic donkey, sophomoric and quite crass, but I will hide behind dispersion so you won't think I'm an ass. I will libel and I will perjure, with fraudulence abound. I will cry calumniation when my mendacity is found. My asinine misrepresentation keeps the proletariat at bay. I steal cash from public coffers. Who cares what peasants say? I exaggerate my rhetoric when I'm walking in the towns because I'm an intellectual and you're a troop of clowns. I don't need to use profanity or grammatical ejaculations. I simply speak with eclectic tongue when addressing populations. For I'm a politician, so prevarication is the best. my egregious fabrications and hyperbole behests. I'm nauseating, patronising. I revile you with a passion because you are really untermensch for whom wealth is out of fashion. And I'll just finish on a love poem I wrote for a friend of mine who said, "You're good with words." I wrote it because I thought he'd like it. It's, I love your nose, I love your toes. You are not like the other hoes.